There you go.
I see meeting recording is in progress, so let's go ahead and start call to order the meeting of the Town of Old Lyme Americans with Disability Act Committee. And today in attendance, Michelle Noren and Stephanie from the Senior Center, and myself, Jennifer Datum, and Missy Garvin is also a member of our committee, but she's not with us right now. So we'll see if maybe she can jump on a little bit later. And we did not have our last meeting. We only meet every other month, and we canceled our what was 2 months ago, must have been May meeting. So let's go and look at our agenda. We have the approval of the minutes. That must have been from March. Did people have the March minutes, or did I not send them out? I can't remember.
I didn't see them. I looked for them today.
Okay. So what I'll do is I will, after this meeting, I'll send out the March minutes and today's minutes, and then we can approve them both at the next meeting.
Perfect.
I mean, March. We didn't have a meeting in May, and today is July. Okay. Michelle, did you see any recent minutes or?
Not that I recall.
All right. It's entirely possible because March obviously was a time of a little bit of confusion and chaos.
Yeah. March was quite the month.
We'll give ourselves a break.
A little busy.
We'll give ourselves a little break from March and then we'll move forward. Okay, so I wanted to give you an update. The next thing on the agenda is the beach mats, which is kind of our big project that we were working on. And again, going back to March was a crazy month. We were ready to order them in March. We were ready to order them mat. But one thing that we didn't calculate was the shipping cost in our budget request. So the amount that was requested from the Parks and Rec capital budget was short, about $500. And so we looked into it, and we had gotten a memo from Nicole, the finance director, just saying that this money is a little bit short. Where do we want to take it from? And then the pandemic happened, the shutdown happened, and everything kind of went to the wayside. And I also do think that the beach mat company was closed for a while as well. And Missy could give us more information because she was the primary contact with them. So now that we're coming back and getting back to some sort of sense of normalcy into this summer, of course, we're still short the money, of course, but it's also the end of the fiscal year, June 30th. So I went up and spoke with Nicole about carrying over the money so we can still spend it. So I have to put in a formal request for carryovers, and all carryovers have to get approved by the first selectman. So I think that's not just ours, but other people's as well. So we just need to kind of maybe have a discussion with him to make sure that he approves the carryover. So that we can go ahead and spend the money. Then I went and talked with Don Bugsby from Parks and Rec, and he was kind of the mind that we might want to just wait till next year to order it. We're in the middle of summer now, so either we're going to do it in the fall, maybe September after Labor Day, or wait till next spring. So are there any thoughts on that in terms of the budget, the carryovers, or the timeline?
Well, I don't see why I think Tim would be fine with carrying the money over for this purpose. As far as ordering it, I don't think it hurts to order it sooner rather than later, and where would it be stored? Okay. So I don't see the harm in that then. And then maybe what we could do is we could do some kind of press release or announcement towards the beginning of beach season next year to say, this is something Old Lyme is doing now for ADA compliance or something.
Can I ask a question, Jen?
Absolutely.
Originally, were you planning on leaving it out in May? I mean, in fall, like till it got cold?
Yeah, I mean, I think ideally you would have it out maybe like May 1st to November 1st. Because of course there's plenty of people who walk the beach all year long.
Well, that's why I was wondering if maybe just a suggestion, maybe we wanted to order it because, people are trying to get out,
Yeah, that's true.
And if they're compromised and they want to go to the beach, wouldn't it be nice if we had that in September for them to be able to go down the beach?
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, that's true.
I say let's not wait, and I'll talk to him about it. I'm not sure his exact reasoning. I think maybe because they're in the middle of the process of his staff and everything. But if we wait till the busy season is over, I mean, by the time we order it and get it shipped, we probably wouldn't put it out till after Labor Day anyhow.
Yeah.
Right.
And then that gets quiet,
right.
Of course.
Sounds good to me.
All right, I agree with that, and I will move forward as as far as the money part goes and how to do all that, the logistical stuff of doing the ordering. And I'll talk to Missy because, like I said, she was the contact with the beach mat company. So I'll reach out to her if she doesn't join us on the meeting today. Okay, the other thing was...
And we decided on blue, didn't we?
Blue. Yep.
Didn't we decide on blue?
Yeah, I think blue, right?
I like blue, yeah. I think it was blue. I think we had a discussion if we wanted to do brown or one of those, but I think we agreed on blue,
yeah, blue
if I remember correctly.
Because the sand does tend to go on it, you know, in a windy day or just walking and stuff. So the other thing that Don brought up to me when we talked about it, and he's still totally supportive of it, was its placement, right? So if you're at White Sands Beach, the gazebo's in the middle. The bathhouse, if you're facing the water, the bathhouse is on the left. And then over on the right is the jetty. And so we had talked about putting it right by the bathhouse on that side, and moving one of the handicap spots. And one of the reasons we talked about that was the onto the actual beach and sand itself. He was suggesting maybe we should consider on the other side by the jetty. And I was at the beach yesterday, and the lane line for the jetty is not close to the jetty like it has been in past years. It's kind of over further to kind of allow boat access to the beach. And I thought about it. He thought it would be easier for a couple of different reasons, and I thought about it as well. But then I forgot to look yesterday, but I think there's a curb there, so I don't think it was to get up to the mat, you know. So I have to go back and kind of do like a visual survey of the beach, because you want to get from the parking lot to the mat. You don't want there to be a step up if you don't have to have it. Right.
No, definitely not. Kind of defeats the purpose.
Right. We want to make it as easy as possible.
But what was because I know we talked about it in length before, Jen, but what was the reasoning he didn't want to do near the bathhouses? Because I thought that was a really good idea in case they needed, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think his reasoning was, like I said, there's more access. It might be easier to access, well, it wouldn't be, I mean, to get to the jetty, but I think because of the lane markers maybe was part of it. And I think the sand sweeping that they do, or they do some kind of like beach maintenance, I don't know how often, you know, to kind of sweep the sand. And that the mat being over closer to the boathouse, he also thought, because people do walk over to the other beach, which is marked off just by a lane line on the other side of the bathhouse. It's not the town's property. But then I also think it might be helpful. So it's kind of like both. We're kind of like, we see the pros and cons of both. And he could explain better his philosophy. He's not opposed to doing it on the other side either. I think he had just been thinking about it some more. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I just know that we had spoken about it, and we actually got to the point where we were going to move the handicap spot, so that's why I was kind of
we will. Either way,
curious.
we'll move the handicap spot to the one side of the other.
Right.
Based on where.
I think that if you double check, and I mean, if there's a lip going up on the other side where he wants to put it, then that would be not necessarily good. You know what I mean?
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe it will make the decision for us, you know.
Yeah, I'll take a little trip back to the beach. I'll suffer for the committee.
You know, please take one for the team, will you? You know.
If it takes all day, it's okay.
Just make sure you have sunscreen.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm telling you, it was very nice at the beach yesterday. It was busy. We went early. It was busy, but it was nice. Very pleasant experience. So I'll go this week sometime. All right. So we're going to move forward on that now that we're back on track with the committee. All right. Anything else about the beach mat? I'll move forward with it and talk to Missy about it.
How wide is it?
I have the width. I have the measurement information. Let's see if I can.
Yeah, I forgot. I want to say
2 or 3 feet wide, Stephanie, you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking 4 or 5.
It's
but
5.
I don't remember for sure.
We're going to get 100 feet long and 5 feet wide.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh, I was right. Okay.
I underestimated.
Yeah.
So
like if I laid down, it would just cover me.
Definitely.
You could roll down it.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Oh, that's a good width too. That's a good width. And of course, you know, it's not just for people. It's for people people who have maybe a stroller. It's for people who have a cane. It's for anybody.
Walkers, yeah.
Yeah, walkers, exactly, anything to help them to get down to the water and make it more accessible. So
That's awesome.
we just got to keep moving on.
Have you seen the new walkers they have?
No, what are they?
Jen, you know how most of the walkers you have to kind of lean forward for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They're completely upright.
How?
So you're standing completely upright. You're not having to lean forward, which I think is great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you can still move it. It's more just designed differently.
No, it's got wheels, just like some of the ones that you have the seats on them. It's like that, but it's more upright. Like your hands are just not like a shopping cart, not like that, but it's more on your, where you don't have to bend over.
Okay.
So I thought that was pretty cool looking. But anyways, I digress, but at least it's in the right field, right? ADA?
Still related.
Absolutely. All right. Any other thoughts on the beach mat or questions?
No, I think that's a good idea. And so you already got permission to keep it in the town garage?
Let me check on that because I'm not sure if Don was going to talk to Ed or there's nowhere else to keep it. It can't be stored at the beach because there's not enough space in that tiny little beach house or bathhouse. And I'm not sure there's anywhere to store it here. So I think that was the option. We had talked about the size of it when it's rolled up and how much room it would take and whatnot.
You don't have room down in the basement anywhere?
I haven't been down there recently, but I think
I'm gonna say there's no room down there.
Michelle's been down there more.
Well, you got a whole empty office now.
Yeah, well, that does get used sometimes. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, the assessor's office uses that space.
Or you could use one of the bathrooms because there's enough room in those that never get used. Okay, sorry, I digress.
Okay. No, that's a good question. It's a good question, and I think Public Works is the best place for off season.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. So the other thing I had on my agenda was the assisted listening devices. We really don't have a lot to say about that because we really aren't having a heck of a lot of meetings here in this building still. Michelle can give us an update. We're doing some meetings. Some committees have chosen to meet. How many do you think, Michelle, are currently meeting in the building?
Very few. Most are still continuing to do WebEx. I know the zoning commission had a meeting and a public hearing last week, I think, and then after that said, oh, they're going back to WebEx because their members weren't comfortable. So I think there's only maybe been 2 or 3 in-person meetings.
And the assisted listening devices are really for townspeople who need help to hear using the microphones. So I think the case of those meetings using the microphones and having the public is even less. So
yeah, definitely.
This is on hold for right now, and then when we do start having more meetings with, especially the groups that tend to have more of the public coming, we can do more promotion of assisted listening devices and come up with our processes for making sure that everyone knows that we have them and they can use them.
Sounds good to me.
So.
Me too.
All right, good. That's easy. The other business I have is the ADA Conference of Connecticut, which is a fantastic organization that the town subscribes to. It's an annual membership, and we renewed our membership again. And they usually do a conference every fall, and they've gone to a virtual conference like pretty much everyone else has. But the advantage of that is going to be that it's spread out over a couple of days instead of one day. And they're going to try and bring in speakers from all over the country, not just people who are
nice.
So, yeah, I'm excited.
Cool.
So, when we hear more information, I don't know, how many people, what the cost is going to be, but I'll let everyone else know, and then maybe other people can attend some of the sessions as well as just one person going.
Yeah, I would like to.
Yeah, they have great resources on their website already, videos and whatnot. And then, of course, that we're part of I think there's 10 across the country regional ADAs, and we're part of the New England or Northeast, which is out of Boston. And their website is also very helpful, and they're a fantastic resource as well. So just keep in mind that we have a state and a regional resource if we have questions or concerns or want more training.
Gotcha.
All right. I don't have a whole lot more. Is there anything else that we need to discuss or that's kind of outstanding from previous meetings?
No, but just a brainstorming thing, not to necessarily do now, but just to kind of put in our back of our heads, how is this COVID going to change what people are going to need from us? You know what I mean? I mean, because you're going to have a whole new group of people that are might not be a physical disability in the sense that to get into a building, but they might have a disability to be able to, like, go to meetings,
Or I
Yeah.
also think,
you know what I mean? Virtually, like, because they don't have computers and, you know what I mean? And they're at risk or, just the thought,
technology aspect of it, absolutely.
Yeah.
I know we've been kind of dealing with that on our own with the senior centers, and, but definitely, like, how are we going to meet the needs of those that want to participate that don't have computers?
Yeah.
Can they always phone in to the meeting?
Yes, they
Like
can
this?
always, there's always a phone-in option.
Like,
Yep.
So that's probably going to be part, that would take care of a lot of it. But I'm just thinking, is there any other thing that we might run into later on,
I'm just hoping that, so the reason why we can do virtual meetings right now is because Governor Lamont had early on an executive order that it's allowing for this. So we just have to hope that he's going to extend it, because technically under FOI, you have to meet in person and you can't do it like we're doing.
Right.
But there's an exception right now. So hopefully, I mean, we might see FOI law change because of COVID. So that's something we'll have to.
I think you're right. And, the thing too is I can't imagine that he would break that executive action until after he says to people 65 and over, they can be out and about. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people that are on boards and commissions that are retired.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I can't imagine that he'd say, okay, now we got to meet back in person, but please still stay home. People 65 and over, protect yourself. So,
We're still kind of in this waiting period, we're still in the middle of it. So we don't know, what the future is going to be in terms of the phased reopening, the extension of the emergency declaration, or any of that stuff. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But I agree, Stephanie, that you need to consider that too. And the one benefit I think that comes from this, not one benefit, but now that all the meetings are recorded like this, then people can go to our YouTube channel and watch them. So that way, more people can at least participate after the fact by watching the meeting instead of just reading.
Right. And they could always make a, if there was something that they wanted to know or whatever, they could always reach out to somebody, at that point.
Absolutely. But I do think you're right. It's just kind of like something to put in our heads in terms of how is it going to change for our committee in particular of helping people to access information and services that they might need.
Gotcha.
And speaking of that, Stephanie, that kind of brought me around to one other thing, which is the Senior Center Building Committee, which I saw part of your meeting on the YouTube channel.
Oh, very good, yeah.
Yeah, I might have been one of 5 viewers, so that's exciting. But I did hear on that meeting that you guys are doing a building assessment.
Yes, that's part of any, when you put out for, oh my gosh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank on what it's called, where you go for requirements. You put a bid out for requirements.
RFP?
What is it?
RFP?
Thank you. Yes, yes. It wasn't coming to me. So that's one of the things we need for an RFP is to have that assessment done,
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a good thing.
Obviously, with you being on our committee, you're going to keep that whole aspect of accessibility, not just for seniors in general, but for other people who might have other disabilities or challenges in mind as you go ahead and see what your needs are for the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. They haven't done them. I think this one is mostly physical at this point. It's just a physical building to see what you know, what, what might need to be replaced, or if we change a building, what things would, you know what I mean, need to be done.
Yeah. So
That's my understanding.
You'll be involved with that assessment of the building?
No, the assessment of the building is going to be done by, I was going to say Flowers, by the one that's in charge of building.
Mark Whalen?
Whalen, thank you. And it's also going to be done by Phil, and it's going to be done by Don Abraham, who's on our on that committee.
I know Don.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's going to be more like what's there now. It's just going to be physical things, you know.
Yeah, but I think that this is the exact opportunity, because remember how we were assessing the town hall building, you know, for like height of the signs and the bathroom accessibility. Right. And so I think now is exactly the time. And I know Phil and Mark pretty much have a good handle on all those requirements, but I do think it's worth it to actually just bring it up again, give them links or printouts to the specific details of building requirements for municipal buildings, so they can use that when they're doing their assessment, just to kind of keep it on the burner.
I absolutely hear what you're saying. I'm not sure that but I can definitely mention it to them. But when we build on and we do that, we will have to meet all those requirements. You know, it'll be a given.
Right, but if you have something that's inside the building that's not fully compliant, then you'll need to upgrade it as well.
Right. Yeah, and once they have that down, they'll let me know if there's anything that we're not compliant on. But I can definitely email that over to Wayland and Don Abraham and say, hey, while you're at it, can you look at these things too?
Yep,
I'm not sure they're going to do the whole kit and caboodle right now, but you know, but we can see if I can request it, you know.
Absolutely. I just think keeping in people's forefront of their minds as they're going about this process, and just making them
I agree.
Yeah.
Well, along those lines, Jen, maybe it's worth having a conversation with Bill about, because we're going to be, I don't know if they're taking them down and doing a total rebuild on the bathrooms at Haynes Park, but.
Well, that's already underway, right?
Yeah, but are they thinking about ADA compliance for those bathrooms?
They have to.
They have to?
Oh,
okay.
They have to. Yeah. Anything that's new built, it wouldn't be to code if it wasn't.
Right.
Okay.
And those are brand new. They're not, it's not a reno, it's a complete build.
So you can only get away with things to code that aren't to code, so to speak, if they're not dangerous and they're in an older structure. You know, that's why you've got some older buildings that don't have, you know, accessibility, not in the public, but in like private buildings, like False Pasta, you know what I mean? They have no way, but it's because it's an older building. If they did any kind of renovation, they would have to fix that, you know. So,
and also an accommodation like a town hall, municipal, you know, which is a different act than for restaurants. You know, we need to provide services. And so if you can provide service, that's a way that you might not have to make a complete physical change to the building if you're providing the same service. So.
Like when they didn't have the elevator at the town hall, and they would just have people come downstairs to help people that didn't have the ability to go upstairs, right?
Yeah, and also like if there's a counter that's not the proper height, if you can find another place to do the same business.
Right.
Right. We're going to learn more about this if we take our training and go to the virtual conference.
Yeah, I'd like to participate in that as well, Jen. If you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great opportunity for us, and to kind of each focus on the areas, you know, that are relevant.
Right.
I'm just very curious. It's going to be in a couple of months. I think October is when the time frame is usually do it. So.
Cool.
All right, we're in agreement about that then. Is there any other business or questions, comments?
Can't think of any.
Might be the shortest meeting we've ever had.
Efficient. That's why I love you, Jen. You're very efficient.
I try to be efficient, but we do want to cover all business that as it comes up to us. But there haven't been any requests. There haven't been any calls. There hasn't been any formal anything. So it's been quiet in general in terms of our committee work. So, but we're going to move forward to the beach mat, and that's about it.
Awesome.
Right.
All right.
Hey, Michelle, before you get off, after you're done with the meeting, I just wanted to ask you a question that has nothing to do with it.
Okay, well, I have a question for Jen too. Let me turn off the recording since we're done. Do we need to officially adjourn or anything?
Adjourn.
Okie dokie.
Adjourn.